4 years ago, they had everything. The biggest contracts in golf history, private jets waiting on runways, the kind of money that makes generational wealth look like pocket change. They walked away from the PGA Tour with their heads held high, convinced they had built something that would last forever. But forever has a funny way of ending when the money runs out. And right now, 7 of the most recognizable names in professional golf are standing outside PGA headquarters with nowhere left to run. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation. This is the moment the golf world has been dreading since the first player defected to the Saudi-backed league. The rebels who swore they would never come back are now begging to return. They have made their demands. They have made their threats. And they have made one thing painfully clear. They are desperate. But the PGA Tour is not interested in saving them. The man in charge has already made his position known, and it is not the soft landing these players were hoping for. The door they walked out of 4 years ago might just be locked for good, and the one player who burned every bridge on his way out, he might never step foot on a PGA course again. Before we get to that name, before we reveal the full roster of desperate rebels, we need to understand exactly what is happening behind the scenes. Because this is not just about golf anymore. This is about power. This is about loyalty. And this is about whether the sport can survive the chaos that is about to unfold. So here is the situation. 7 LIV golf stars have formally demanded immediate reinstatement to the PGA Tour. They did not send a quiet letter. They did not make a discreet phone call through back channels. They made a public, aggressive, and coordinated move that has sent shockwaves through every corner of professional golf. And the response from PGA headquarters has been nothing short of ice cold. But what exactly did they demand? And why did the tour react with such brutal finality? The answer is hiding in a 3-year-old lawsuit that some of these rebels wish they had never signed. The Golfers' Union, the antitrust complaint, the accusations of monopoly and unfair business practices. When these players left the PGA Tour, they did not just resign. They declared war. 11 of them signed their names to a legal document that tried to dismantle the entire structure of professional golf. They accused the tour of running an illegal monopoly. They tried to break the system from the inside. And the tour has not forgotten. Not a single name on that lawsuit has been erased from memory. The lawyers who defended the PGA Tour spent millions fighting those accusations. The executives who run the tour sat through months of depositions. The board members who oversee the sport watched their entire business model get attacked in open court. And when the lawsuit was eventually dropped, the damage was already done. The tour does not forgive, and they certainly do not forget. That brings us to the 7 players who are now standing at the gates of Ponte Vedra Beach, hoping for a second chance. Some of them are the biggest names in the sport. Some of them are major champions who have lifted trophies at the Masters and the Open Championship. And at least one of them is so toxic to the tour that even the mention of his name in boardroom meetings makes executives clench their fists. The first name on that list might not surprise you. It might even be the name you expected. But what that player did after he left the tour is the real reason he might never be allowed back. The court documents are public. The legal strategy was aggressive. And the lead plaintiff who put his name on that lawsuit is the same man who is now standing outside PGA headquarters with his hand outstretched, hoping someone will shake it. But the tour is not shaking anything. They are sitting back, watching the rebels panic, and letting the clock tick down to the one event that could change everything. The 2026 US Open is just weeks away. It is the biggest tournament of the summer. It is being held at one of the most punishing courses in America. And it is run by the USGA, the same governing body that has been at war with the players over equipment changes and rule modifications. For the 7 rebels, the US Open represents their last best chance to prove they still belong. But the PGA Tour holds the keys to that door. And the man holding those keys has already made it clear that there will be no special treatment for anyone who walked out on the sport. So now we ask the question that every golf fan is dying to know. Who are the 7? And why is one of them so radioactive that the tour is actively discussing a lifetime ban? Here is where things get personal. The full roster is about to be revealed, and one name on this list will make you understand exactly why the tour is ready to destroy someone's career. Let us start with the obvious ones. The superstars, the men who were supposed to be the face of the LIV revolution. Bryson DeChambeau, the mad scientist, the bomber who broke the game with his distance. He is the player who filed the lawsuit. He is the lead plaintiff who put his name on the front page of every sports section in America. He is the one who declared war on the PGA Tour and then had the audacity to ask for peace 3 years later. Jon Rahm, the Spaniard, the Masters champion. He was offered a special path back to the tour months ago. It was a golden ticket that only a handful of players received. Brooks Koepka took that ticket and walked right back in. Rahm said no. He rejected the offer. He thought LIV would survive. He was wrong. Phil Mickelson, the legend, the 6-time major winner. He was the voice of the rebellion, the elder statesman who convinced others to jump ship. Now he is watching his legacy crumble because he cannot play the tournaments that matter most. Cameron Smith, the quiet assassin, the 2022 Open champion. He also rejected the golden ticket. He also thought the money would keep flowing. He is now scrambling to find a way back before it is too late. Taylor Gooch, the young star who was supposed to be the future of the sport. He signed the lawsuit. He made his choice, and now he is paying for it. Ian Poulter, the Ryder Cup hero, the charismatic veteran who has always played with his heart on his sleeve. His heart is now breaking because he might never play a Ryder Cup again. Lee Westwood, the English veteran, the man who has played in more tournaments than most of us can count. He is running out of time, and every day that passes is another day his career slips away. That is the full roster. 7 men, 7 major championships between them, and 0 guarantees that any of them will ever play a PGA Tour event again. Now that you know exactly who is knocking on the door, let us talk about what they are actually asking for. They want immediate reinstatement. Not next year, not after a suspension, not after paying fines. They want it now. They want to walk back into the locker room and be treated like nothing ever happened. But the tour is not having any of it. The response from Ponte Vedra has been merciless. There is no special program anymore. There is no fast track. There is no forgiveness for the men who signed that lawsuit. Brooks Koepka came back because he never sued the tour. He walked away quietly. He kept his head down. He played golf. And when he wanted to return, the tour welcomed him with open arms. These 7 men did not walk away quietly. They tried to tear the whole system down, and the tour is making them pay for every single word they said, every single document they signed, and every single public accusation they made against the leadership of professional golf. The final verdict is coming, and it is going to change the sport forever. Some of these players might never get back in. The tour is considering lifetime bans for the ringleaders. They are discussing massive fines that could wipe out the signing bonuses these players received. They are preparing public statements that will humiliate the rebels and make them regret ever leaving. And the one man who is most at risk, the one player who might never play another PGA Tour event again, his name is Bryson DeChambeau. He was the face of the rebellion. He was the voice of the lawsuit. And he is the target of the tour's fury. But there is a twist. A brutal, ironic twist that makes this entire story feel like something out of a Hollywood script. The US Open is coming. It is being hosted by the USGA, the same organization that the rebels have publicly criticized. And one of those 7 rebels might just have the chance to win the one championship that could save his career. If Bryson DeChambeau wins the US Open, he will have more leverage than anyone in golf history. He will be a major champion again. He will be impossible to ignore. And he will force the PGA Tour to make a decision that could break the sport in half. The final payoff? The answer to everything the viewer clicked for? It is coming right now. The tour is not going to let them all back. They will cherry-pick 1 or 2 players who are not radioactive, who did not sign the lawsuit, who can be rehabilitated without causing a mutiny from the loyalists. But the ones who signed the lawsuit, the ones who tried to burn the tour to the ground, they are finished. Bryson DeChambeau is finished. Phil Mickelson is finished. Taylor Gooch and Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood are finished. Jon Rahm and Cameron Smith might have a chance. They rejected the golden ticket, but they did not sue the tour. That distinction matters. That is the difference between a career and a graveyard. But even for Rahm and Smith, the path back is brutal. They will have to serve suspensions. They will have to pay fines. They will have to apologize publicly and humiliate themselves in front of the board. And even then, there are no guarantees. This is the moment that will define the next decade of professional golf. The tour is about to make an example out of the rebels. They are going to show the world that you cannot walk away, declare war, and then walk back in like nothing happened. They are going to send a message to every player who might be tempted to leave in the future. And the message is simple. If you leave, you are gone forever. But let us dig deeper into the chaos that is unfolding behind closed doors. Because the rebels did not just make a demand and walk away. They have been strategizing, they have been negotiating, and they have been making threats that could blow up the entire sport. Reports from inside Pontevedra suggest that the 7 players have been meeting with lawyers and agents to explore every possible avenue of attack. They have threatened to go public with grievances. They have threatened to file new lawsuits. They have even threatened to boycott the majors if the tour does not give them what they want. The tour is not scared. They have seen these threats before. They have dealt with this rebellion for 4 years. They know the rebels are desperate. They know the rebels have no real leverage. And they know that the clock is ticking. Because when the US Open arrives, the rebels will have to make a decision. Do they try to qualify on their own merits? Do they sit out and hope the tour blinks? Do they file a new lawsuit and drag the sport through another year of legal hell? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is exactly what is making the golf world so nervous. The loyalists who stayed on the tour are watching all of this unfold with a mixture of anger and satisfaction. They are angry that the rebels even have the audacity to ask for reinstatement. They are satisfied that the tour is finally standing up to the bullies. Players like Lucas Glover and Matt Fitzpatrick have been vocal about their frustration with the situation. They gave up opportunities to join LIV. They stayed loyal to the tour, and now they are watching the rebels try to walk back in like nothing happened. That is not going to sit well with them, and the tour knows it. If the tour lets the rebels back in without serious punishment, they risk losing the trust of the loyalists. That is a risk they are not willing to take. So what does the future hold? Let us break it down player by player. Bryson DeChambeau. He is the most toxic player on the list. He sued the tour. He attacked the tour publicly. He was the face of the rebellion, and he is the one the tour wants to make an example of. He is likely never playing a PGA Tour event again. Phil Mickelson. He is the second most toxic player. He was the voice of the rebellion. He convinced other players to leave. He has burned every bridge he ever had. His career is over. Taylor Gooch. He signed the lawsuit. He made his choice. He is done. Ian Poulter. He signed the lawsuit. He made his choice. He is done. Lee Westwood. He did not sign the lawsuit, but he was one of the loudest voices in the rebellion. He might have a slim chance, but it is very, very slim. Jon Rahm. He did not sign the lawsuit. He rejected the golden ticket, but he never attacked the tour publicly. He might have a path back, but it will be brutal. Suspensions, fines, and public apologies are all on the table. Cameron Smith. He did not sign the lawsuit. He rejected the golden ticket, but he kept his head down. He might have a path back, but it will also be brutal. He will have to serve suspensions and pay fines. That is the reality. Only 2 of the 7 have any real chance of coming back, and even their chances are slim. The tour is going to make an example out of this situation. They are going to show the world that loyalty matters. They are going to show the world that you cannot leave the tour and come back like nothing happened. And when the dust settles, the sport of golf will be changed forever. The rebels will be gone, the loyalists will be rewarded, and the PGA Tour will be stronger than ever. But at what cost? The tour is losing star power. They are losing the names that casual fans recognize. They are losing the drama that makes golf exciting. Bryson DeChambeau is a draw, Jon Rahm is a draw, Phil Mickelson is a draw, and the tour is about to lose all of them permanently. Is that worth the victory? Is that worth proving a point? The tour seems to think so, but only time will tell. So here is my POV. I think the rebels made a terrible decision. They chose money over loyalty. They chose a failed experiment over the sport that made them famous. And now they are facing the consequences of that choice. The tour is right to stand its ground, but I want to hear from you. Do these LIV stars deserve a second chance, or should the PGA Tour make an example out of them and keep the door locked forever? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this story as it unfolds, hit hit that subscribe button right now, because the next few weeks are going to be pure chaos. The US Open is coming, the Rebels are desperate, the Tour is ruthless, and the sport of golf is never going to be the same. One thing is certain, the men who tried to tear apart professional golf are about to find out whether forgiveness is possible or whether some doors are locked forever.